Hello, I'm Dr. Tom, and I'd like to welcome you to another spectacular Friday update. What another great week we've had inside the world of Gen. I am pleased and proud to relay to you that we have actually had some people complete their level 5 test online. So we'll do a great big energy high five to all of those who have done that successfully so far. As I had told you, that was a project that we've been working on for some time to be able to get that so that you could take it online at your convenience. And we have accomplished that. So the beauty of that is that it allows people to move from level 5 to be ready to do the in-person training that we do at our major events. Particularly what's going to come up in Las Vegas in February, where people can then now be eligible to do level 6 training in person. And then they can do level 7A and level 7B in person before we get to, because they will be eligible for, taking level 8 for free with KT. So this is the plan and how it's all moving forward. That was a major project to get that done and to be able to accomplish that. So kudos again to the team for getting that set up, because it was a very concerted effort, and it is up and running. If you are eligible to take your level 5 test, just simply contact us at support@genunited.com. Put in the subject line, that's what it's about, and they will get back with you and get you set up and help to walk you through doing that procedure. So if you're level 4 and you were wondering, will I be able to get that done? The answer is yes. You can now take that test online. Remember, the goals to be able to qualify to get level 8 for free are to be a member by the end of this year, 2020, and to be level 7 by the end of 2021. So things are very doable. We are working toward making that easier for everyone to be able to accomplish. Our next major project is to work on translations, to be able to bring you this incredible Success Mastery course information in multiple languages, like French and German and Spanish. And so that is our next project. We are on that. And thank you for those of you who have contacted us about volunteering. If you're interested in doing some translation, please give us a call again at that same contact information at support@genunited.com, and we will proceed. So those are a couple of great announcements that I had for you. I did want to also talk a little bit about level 1 today, because as we were preparing, and this is how this is all tied together, and as our team was preparing to get us the information necessary for the translations, it reminded me of the amount of quality material that we have in level 1. And oftentimes, as we move through those levels, and once you get to be level 6 and level 7, the beauty of going back and looking at level 1. You see, things that we tend to take for granted, or things that we say, you know, I heard that, it is so important to understand the new unit of time concept. And the purpose for that is that you are a new unit of time. You're the new unit in the time. When you go back and listen to some of these topics and some of these presentations and some of this information and some of this training, you will come from a different place. You will have a different perspective. You see, that's one of the beautiful things that's come out of this COVID pandemic, is that people have reevaluated where they are. The good news is so many of us in Gen have reevaluated it in a more positive light. And you can identify these people immediately in a conversation. I mean, it's not 3 or 4 sentences in where you know where people are in a level of training, or a lack of that level of training, that lack of that consciousness about what's available out there. Because so many people spin into a negative, or so many people say, you know, I'm so bored. I hear this a lot. I'm so bored. And my thought is, you must not be in Gen. You must not understand the training and the opportunities that are out there. Because bored is the one thing I have not been since February. There are so many things to do, and so many ways to look at this, and so many ways to build your foundation. And this is why I mentioned the level 1 training again to everyone in this club. Because the value of level 1 is priceless. The value, because it is in level 1 where you get exposed to your wish is your command, where you begin to alter your thinking, where you begin to alter your patterns and your habits. And this is why it's so important. Because so many people are reverting back to, maybe they did something for a crisis for a couple of months, but they didn't really entrench, they didn't ingrain, they didn't buy into something new. So they're falling back into their old patterns. And they're bored, they have nothing to do. The beauty of this club is there's plenty to do. There's plenty to learn. There's plenty to expose yourself to. There's so much information. It's almost at the edge of overwhelming. Therefore, if you'll go back and review, and so it's exactly what I did. And I began to look through, and just the information in level 1 is 4 pages long. Your wish is your command, and the multiple lessons that are there, manifesting your desires, trainings that were done in Germany and in Zurich, and patent on leadership. What an incredible subject. And understand that Jen attracts leaders. You see, there's a difference in being a leader and a follower. And there's also the fact that leaders get training. Leaders accept training. Leaders look for training. Because that's how they become better leaders. There's an increased responsibility when you're a leader. Therefore, you must continually learn and you must continually upgrade the message that you give to those who are following. Whether it's leading in business, whether it's leading in a relationship, whether it's leading in your financial plan, whether it's dreaming. You see, all of these things are tied together, whether it's manifesting, whether it's learning new information, whether it's the minutes to learn and a lifetime to master. All of those things are tied together, whether it's being happy now, whether it's knowing the score. The value of knowing the score, it's why we talk about it regularly on these updates, because we know the score in Jen because we abide by these principles. It's the only way you can keep track of things and have a long-lasting business. And let me tell you, our goal is to have this go on for generation after generation after generation. This is not about Kevin. It's not about Dr. Ted. It's not about Dr. Tom. It's not about Blaine. It's not about Lee. It's not about the level 7 members that we have at this point. It's about more than that. It's about us contributing to a vibrational energy that allows people to grow and accomplish things so that they can change their legacy, so that they can pass that on to future generations. That's what this club is about. It's so much bigger than any single one of us because it's bigger than all of us. Mastering the Success Mastery course. As I've told you multiple times, one of the most enlightening training programs available in the world, in the history of mankind. Plugging into your dreams. Forget about the how. When you stop thinking about the how and you go back to your why. Why do you do this? Why do you do what you do? How to be super successful. I'm going to do it. That's it, period. Money's a renewable resource. That concept itself, you see, so many people fall into the scarcity when they begin to talk about money. They don't understand it's a renewable resource. Use it to renew its resource. Use it so that it comes back to you tenfold. Understand why that occurs. Getting into alignment. Finding the balance. This goes on and on and on. Feeling blessed all the time. Finding your how. What is a dream? The character traits of highly successful people. You don't need to recreate the wheel. Study what made them successful and then emulate that. Use them as a mentor. Use them as a coach. What you need to succeed. Choosing positivity and expanding your desires. It is so easy to choose positivity once you understand the difference in that and negativity. Many people don't even understand the difference. They just think they're positive. And what I've learned in treating them over the years in personal cares is that they're positively negative. They're absolutely convinced that negative is the answer. They do not understand the negative energy impact of negative thinking. And if you learn nothing else in your Jen experience, that lesson alone is invaluable. Talking about Jen's first local chapter meeting, I encourage you to go back and listen. Sure, some of the things are no longer applicable to where we are today because things change. That's the good news. Things change from time to time. in this club and in life and in the world. You know, I was thinking about that when I saw that, and I was thinking about change, and I talked about some things in my Wellness Wednesday about people falling into habits and going and not surrounding themselves with positive kinds of people. And I was thinking about change, and I thought about, from a financial standpoint, how much the brokerage world, the investment world, has changed. When I started investing back in the 80s and the 90s, you know, you had to have a broker, and you actually had to pick up the phone and you had to call them, or you had to go into their office and tell them you wanted to buy this or you wanted to buy that, and they didn't have much research available for you. It was very limited knowledge that you had. And then they would place a trade and they would call you back and tell you what they did. And then they would tell you what you got the stock for, and then they would tell you what their commission was. And that commission might be hundreds of dollars, it might be thousands of dollars on a single trade. And now you don't have to call anyone. You can simply go online. You don't have to take a check. You can do automatic bank transfers in and out of your account from your bank to your brokerage account. You don't have to pay any commission at all. It's free to do these things online. And the information, the research, and the things are available for you at the click of a button. You see, things change. Things change. The world around you is changing. How are you reacting to that? How are you reassessing that? And you know, one of those calls, a call that I got years ago in the late 80s, was from a gentleman from he was in Boca Raton at that time, and we struck up a conversation, and I listened. I learned, because I had a desire to think, what do people say when they call somebody out of the blue and get them to invest tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in an idea? And so I listened, I studied about what was said and what wasn't said, and when they would move a conversation, when they would pause. And I studied that procedure, and I developed a friendship with this particular gentleman, which years later, decades later, it has led to me investing with him and owning properties in Argentina, in South America, in the foothills of the Andes, in the wine region, in San Rafael, and in a hotel property, the Algodon property, and the Algodon wines, which are world acclaimed, both the property, the hotel, and the vineyard, a vineyard where you have residential properties and you have a golf course and you have polo fields. I mean, it is a spectacular property, all of which came about as a result of listening on a phone call decades ago and watching things change. It's been a great ride. It's not over yet. We're going to have some fun before this is all said and done. So my point is that life around you changes, and you must adapt to that. It's the react part that's important for your health. And it's important to learn these things in the... I will go over this because I don't want to take so long today to go over all of these things. This is just in the first page and a half. How to manifest what you want. Learning how to manifest. Learning how to focus. Learning how to dream. Learning about possibilities that are out there. Learning about building your foundation so that when storms come, as I mentioned last week, Hurricane Laura was coming into the United States, and it was complete devastation at 150, 155 miles an hour, 147, whatever the number actually was, in different places that were measured. Some of the weather places were blown away before they could get a final reading. That's how severe this storm was. So it took preparation. It took building a strong foundation, and there will be people that had complete devastation, and they'll have to go back in and do a total rebuild. And as it moved further north, there were high winds, and there was flooding that occurred in Louisiana and Arkansas and Mississippi and parts of Texas. And then it came, interestingly enough, it came right to the edge of Rogers, Arkansas, where we live, and turned to the east. We literally could see this storm, and you could see the rain, yet it didn't rain at our homes, at the farm and at my place. That Dr. Ted and I's places abut each other. And we have a picture that I want to show you just how close this storm came. It's amazing. This is the rebound as it turned away. Are you prepared for the storms that happen in life? Are you prepared for the tougher times, the challenging times? Are you building a foundation that understands how to react? That's what's important. Some things you can control, and the things you can control, take control. Take an action step. Take the bull by the horns, if you will. The things that you cannot control, control your reaction to them. It's a great lesson. It's much of what I talked about on my Wellness Wednesday this past week. Find a time, find a place where you can reconnect to nature. Find a place where you can connect to source. Find a place where you can connect to that universal energy, the ethos. Find a time to do it and schedule it. Do it on purpose. Do it on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Pick a time, pick a place, pick a space. And then every time you do that, you see, every time you then think about doing it, you get a piece of that peace, a piece of that serenity, a piece of that connection, a piece of that joy, a piece of that happiness, a piece of that calm, a piece in a way in which you can relax. And if ever there was a time on this planet when we needed to relax, it would be now. It's a great time to take a deep breath. It's a great time to reinstitute the power of the pause. And when you get into a conversation, listen, pause. Don't let it get your blood pressure up. Do not get upset. There's no solution in upset. The solution is in the solution. Take a deep breath. Relax. Connect to who you are. Connect to who you're becoming. Focus more on the dream. Focus more on the future. And understand that humanity will survive. Humanity is very strong. Build your foundation inside the Success Mastery course of Jen. Join us at the upper levels of this company because it is a great club. It is a way in which you can change your life and the lives of those around you. And you can get to spend more time with like-minded people who share your dream and support your dream and will assist you in accomplishing your dream. I'm Dr. Tom. I hope you have a spectacular week. I'll talk to you next Friday.